I'm Jonny Smith.
I'm Richard Porter.
And this is Smith & Sniff, a podcast in which two friends talk about cars and many other things live at Mini. You did it. I did it.
You did it.
Well
done. You remembered it.
I want that box on my side.
I realised that before we started recording, I forgot to ask if you could applaud when we did that bit, and I'm so glad that you did, so thank you. It would have sounded really embarrassing.
Oh, these people know.
If you didn't.
Thanks
for coming, everybody, here to the Mini factory in what they just call Oxford, and I have to keep telling myself not to call Cowley, because I'm a deeply dull man. And I remember when they used to make Austin Princesses here. I mean, not literally remember, I was too young, but I know that they did.
Well, we're lucky enough to have a small room backstage next to those historic cars on the way to the toilets. And but it's not in our green room's not in the toilets. But in our green room thing, there's a couple of glass cabinets.
There's a lot of glass cabinets.
And in those glass cabinets, there's some artefacts of interest. One of them being you thought it was beautiful. It was was it made of marble?
I think it was onyx.
Okay, a large onyx tabletop cigarette lighter. About the size of a hand grenade, I'm going to say, but with a British Leyland motif on it.
A British Leyland tabletop cigarette lighter.
It's totally coming home with me tonight.
If I saw that an antique photo, we did. Johnny genuinely tried the lock on the cabinet. Sadly.
Mini, are listening.
My heart was aflutter by the nearby cabinet that had an original Austin Montego brochure in it.
Yeah.
Yes. But I didn't have to steal that because I have one of my own at home. Although it's always good to have a spare.
In case yours gets water damage?
Yeah.
Or something like that?
Yes. No, because, they rot.
Yeah.
Like a Montego.
Poster rot.
And there's another cabinet that's got lovely little models of lots of cars that were made here. And they've taken a bit of leeway with it because there's an MGB GT. Because, fun fact, the body panels were pressed here, just in that building down the way there. Everyone is awestruck at this fact.
I'm as blown away as you are.
Do you know another car that had its body panels stamped here that was not a British Leyland car?
No, I don't.
Good. The Rolls-Royce Silver Shadow.
Was it?
Was that an ooh?
Yeah.
Or was it just the aircon? I couldn't tell. I think also
the Maxi was made here, wasn't it?
The Maxi was made here.
Yeah.
That's actually quite a fun game. Fun game. For the tape, I'm doing air quotes.
Book now for Richard's house at Christmas.
Cars that were made here. Game. I say a car, you've got to say Cowley or not Cowley?
Cowley or not Cowley?
Cowley, no. I haven't thought this through.
Right.
Rover 800.
Was it made here?
That's what it's the game.
Sorry, I haven't got the rules together yet. I'm really sorry.
Austin Metro.
No.
Bing.
Yes, no. What about the one, the Tickford one?
Still not made. I will come back to that game later when I've worked out the rules. Sold it to Channel 4.
Those people who aren't in the audience tonight, who are just listening to this with their ears, might not know that there's a black car parked outside.
Ah.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Whatever you just said.
No car on Britain's roads is more worthy of a solitary than our beautiful Eagle Quest.
So, go on, listen.
Statesman.
I'm going to put you in the picture. 24 hours ago, no, more, 36 hours ago, I was in the MOT bay. Yeah. I booked in the Eagle Quest because I'd forgotten that the MOT had run out. And then realised we've got a live show, we've got to take the pissing car there. I pulled up at the MOT centre, the exhaust was still blowing a little bit, as it had done from the day we bought it.
Yeah, sporty.
I simply hadn't done anything about it. put it up on the ramp. Although what was quite funny is the guy asked me when I said it's a limousine, he did say, how big? I haven't got a ramp big enough for a limousine. I went, oh no, it's not really a limo. It's a slightly longer car, which made me sound like a moron. Because that's what a limousine is. Anyway, we'll gloss over that particular bit. Anyway, as I rolled it in, he whistled and said, that's a beastie. And then, as I lurched it onto the four-post ramp thing, at the end of his ramp, where those little discs are that you put the front wheels to check the steering isn't wanked, there's another like 18 inches beyond that, which he clearly never uses because he's got loads of tools and rags and a radio. And I drove the car onto there and basically crunched up against it all. And then he went, oh, no, go back. So I went back and he had to it spent 10 minutes taking stuff off the front of the ramp that never gets used for anything. Then we just got the Eagle on. Then he was like, right, then the MOT can begin. And I was usual MOT tenseness. I was like, I was making a small chat.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't leave a car when it's being MOT'd. I just fundamentally mistrust people, especially when you've got an exotic car. And anything could happen. Anything. The fucker's 3 litre. So we put it up on the ramp. And I looked underneath because I knew the exhaust was slightly blowy. I'd actually gone really early doors to a local artefactor, the one where the guy sized down the phone.
Oh, that guy.
and I'd got one of those modern exhaust bandages, which are legit for an MOT. And I thought I'll put one in the door card because I will need that. And as he put the car up on the ramp and it was still running, I looked underneath thinking, I don't know where it's blowing. I haven't really looked under the Eagle much. I realised that the exhaust part, which I thought was definitely the leaky bit, was made up of 2 full Heineken beer cans. When I say full, I don't mean full of beer, obviously, I mean the whole can. Crunched around the exhaust and 8 Jubilee clips.
Oh my God.
I've got video evidence to support this. But then there he giggled and looked at it and put his hand around it and went, no, it's not leaking from there. That's absolutely fine.
That's the best bit.
So then I was like, oh shit, so there's another hole. So I felt along, we found it, and because he's a good lad, I said, look, well, while you're checking the steering and the brakes, can I just put this exhaust bandage on? He went, yeah, no problem. So I bandaged it mid-MOT.
What, with like 2 cans of Breaker or something?
If I'd known, I would have taken some no-name lager or something like that, or some rich energy. Actually would have been really good. Maybe that's the most useful thing for a can of rich energy.
It's quite small diameter though, isn't it?
What, the pipe or the can?
The can, and therefore the pipe.
We could stretch
that you made
it a bit.
from rich energy.
But anyway...
It also might make your car talk shit. Like the owner of rich energy.
Does it make it down on power and up on bollocks? Well, whichever way you look at it, it's outside. And it's here, and we have a ticket.
I knew you were taking the car in yesterday for the MOT. And I was quite busy yesterday, but it was just in the back of my mind. And when you sent me that message, just went past, it was like you told me you'd had a baby.
Hashtag pray for the Eagle.
Healthy, happy baby.
Yeah.
It's a strange thing to say that you're proud of a car. I was really proud of the Eagle for sailing through its MOT with only...
I blame the listeners, and in this instance also some viewers in the room, because without you guys we wouldn't have bought that stupid car out there.
Yeah, we really...
And we needed so much encouragement, as you well know. I have to say, it's been an utter joy. Sweet, sweet car, and it brought us all the way here and the merchandise at the back of the room.
Well,
lovely.
As you said earlier on, it is in many ways a very practical commercial vehicle.
It is. Because it's got a boot, and if there's only 2 of you in it, which there were, we have 6 spaces, people's worth of storage. It's bloody brilliant.
Well, the limo is going out of fashion, isn't it? In fact, I think it's sort of firmly out of fashion now, except for... Like, do hen do's and stag do's still use limos?
Anybody here been in a limo recently?
But if you're Brad Pitt...
Not one person.
If you pop to London and you're Brad Pitt, they don't send a limo to get you from the airport, do they? They send a people carrier, a minivan kind of thing.
Yeah.
They'll send a V-Class, basically, with quilted leather seats in it.
But I'd like it if they were to just... just send a really old, haggard limo.
Send the Eagle.
The faded glory.
Pitt's in town. Fire up the Eagle, and we'll head down there.
Yeah?
It's like a bait and switch. We'll head off the Vito, screech to a halt outside Terminal 5, or the private jet terminal or whatever. That's a weird thing about it. Do you know, there's a lot of major celebrities, if they're really, really big stars and they fly private, they don't come into Heathrow, obviously, because that's quite busy with big jets and things. They go to Luton.
Of course.
Imagine you're Taylor Swift, about to start the UK leg of your enormous tour, which, by the way, you've seen that? I don't know if anyone's been to see Taylor Swift at that tour. I only just discovered, like literally, whenever it was in the summer that she was playing, I saw this tour, a massive tour. Wow, she's doing this huge tour. It's called the Eras Tour. Did you know this?
Yes. Everybody knew this.
I thought it was the Eras Tour, and I was like, why is it called that?
Did you think is it the ERA's tour? Specialist vintage racing
up old Mini.
Yeah.
With a turbo on it.
I could see Swift with an ERA
she bloody loved
turbo Mini.
Tweaked up, yeah. She was going to call it the Wooden Picket Tour, and they went, nah, it's too obscure.
Wooden Picket.
I honestly thought it was called the Eras Tour, and my wife went, it's eras, you fuckwit. And I still look at that word, and it doesn't work for me because it looks wrong. I think it's Eras.
Would you like a lowercase s?
That would help.
Yeah, it would.
That would help a lot.
Era.
So Taylor Swift arrives in the UK on the start of her UK leg of the Eras/Eras tour. I'll debate that with her later. And the first thing she does is she arrives in Luton, in Bedfordshire. And frankly, that's a bit depressing. But if she got into the Eagle Quest/Statesman...
Oh, shit.
Already the day is looking up.
Isn't it?
Even though you took the tints off the back window so everyone can see her.
Because that's what cool people do.
I vaguely know someone who does security for big stars when they come to Britain. And he did Taylor Swift security, or has done. And he told me genuinely, I don't think I'm giving away any state secrets, but...
Bet you are.
Don't tell anyone I told you this. They genuinely do run decoy cars.
Do they?
Yeah, when she drives out of Luton, there's sort of 4 Vitos.
Yeah.
All blacked out. So the paps don't know which one to follow. But there's only one Eagle. That's the problem. We can't run interference with other Eagles because as far as we're aware, there aren't any.
Could you put a good word in for us to maybe rent it out to people like Taylor Swift on their Eras tour?
That's what I'm thinking. It's just, yeah. I'm willing to have Eras written down the side, /Eras. We'll debate that again. If they put the A and the S either side of a shut line,
stop it.
At least it would be easier for me to get my head around because I could go, oh yeah, era.
You're the only person criticising Taylor Swift's tour or album.
I don't think there's an Eras album, is there?
I don't know, actually.
No, there's not. See, it reminds me of the erasure prevention tab you used to get in cassette tapes. I've said too much.
Anyway, back to more interesting things like the MOT of the Eagle Quest. There was an advisory or two.
Was it your car is too cool?
There was some... I was going to say...
Your car may attract the attention of Taylor Swift.
But talking of which, if you needed to get away quicker from Luton Airport...
Always.
We need to put some Ermshire onto it. I've made this decision today, driving here today. It needs a bit of Ermshire in its life. And then I realised, in previous podcasts, you may know that I've done a high-energy, fairly shit beatbox whenever mentioning Stellantis, which obviously Vox was part of. But actually, I'm saying Ermshire. It's just Ermshire. That's all it is. And it's calling to us from aloft to say you must put some Ermshire tuning on the Senator.
Interesting.
Yes, that's my Christmas list.
I'll let Taylor know.
Yeah. That's the only
thing. If she starts with that, oh, you need to 24 valve swap it again, shit, I'm just hanging up. I've had enough of her nonsense. Erase that thought, Taylor. It's not happening. We're not made of money.
Erase.
It reminds me, before we came on, they played that little promotional video about minis, and it was set to pump up the jam.
Bloody love that.
Talking of subliminal product messages, I always thought that was saying awa, as in the stereo people. I don't actually know what it's saying, but you know the bit I mean? It goes, a place to go. And I thought it was Iowa, like stereo people, yeah. Honestly, and I was like, how clever, they're promoting stereos with a bit of music. Once again, I've said too much.
Okay, so in preparation for this live event tonight, I did absolutely nothing. Because I never do. But what I did do is I drank a small amount of Malbec and I watched a film called Bloodsport. Are we aware of... It's a very 80s film, Bloodsport. Hands up, have you seen Bloodsport? Yeah. Okay, so the first 20 minutes is time you'll never get back. And I've never seen acting worse. I'm going to put that down.
Who's in it?
Jean-Claude Van Damme.
Of course.
But when he's played by a child to show Jean-Claude Van Damme as a child, it's time you'll never get back.
Is it just Jean-Claude Van Damme behind a table with a child's body sort of there that he's resting his head on? Well,
those of you who don't know, it's based around a Belgian fighty man in America who goes to Hong Kong to do some fighting in secret. Spoiler alert. And the fighting is definitely non-contact, as in like you and I, this far away.
Oh, what? And then they just put a...
But that's really bad. But there is some car content in it. And that's why I've brought it up on today's gig, because there's some street scenes in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
80s Hong Kong, which is quite rich.
Is it all at night?
No, there's a little bit of nighttime, but predominantly daytime.
Right.
And although there's a lot of time you won't get back in the film, I would highly recommend it for some of the Hong Kong car spots. There's an M535i parked on the South Street, numerous hot Mercs off of the 80s, Nissan Cedric taxis, but also a lot of Toyota Hiaces.
Okay, yeah.
You never see Hiaces.
Well, you did in Hong Kong in the 80s.
Well, yeah, but I mean like now. Never, they've all gone.
Is it possible you could just do me like a 5-minute supercut of this film so that I don't have to watch the whole thing?
No, I'd like you to. If nothing else, because I'm convinced that Jean-Claude Van Damme's trousers get higher as the film goes on.
Or Jean-Claude Van Damme was getting taller during filming due to some kind of untested protein supplement that he was taking at the time.
It could be that.
He was probably on the roids.
I don't know if he was roided up. He was certainly very fit.
But the roids
strong.
that just make you taller and nothing else.
But the trousers are so high. But you'd think if he's running around and doing, fighting...
What time of year was it shot in?
My trousers would go lower if I was doing lots of fighting. Because I'm moving around a lot.
Or you're loosening them up.
And I'm
just wondering, because Hong Kong can be quite humid. Maybe they were wool trousers. They were slowly shrinking. He hadn't thought this through.
He
bought the trousers in Belgium, where he's from, and he'd worn them all the time in America, no worries at all.
No.
Southern California, nice and dry. True. Goes to Hong Kong. What the fuck?
We've all done it. We've all bought dry state trousers. And they've gone to a wetter state.
Yeah.
Doesn't work.
I only buy dry state trousers, because then you know that they haven't had to have any welding or anything done on them.
Exactly. There's no rot.
They're good to go, no rot. Yeah, classic trousers from a dry state.
Yeah.
We looked around the mini factory earlier on, and it was bloody fascinating, let me tell you. I know that sounded sarcastic, it wasn't meant to be. There's something
wonderful,
genuinely amazing as well that we just saw before we came out here, because we were allowed to go round. There's a sort of back bit there behind that wall. We were allowed to go round to go and get our microphones. And that's where they store the old robots. And there's something really quite sort of sad about these robots there, because they do look forlorn, because they're all kind of doubled over.
Like this.
Jonny will now demonstrate what a sad robot looks like. There we go.
They were really like that.
Yeah.
And
We've just seen their newer, younger, fitter, more vibrant cousins in the factory there, zipping about building cars, really impressively. I don't know if anyone's ever seen a robot in action, or lots of robots. They've got bloody loads of them now.
I just love a factory.
But you're watching them and you're going, that's going to twat the ceiling in a minute. Any time now, that's going to twat... Oh, it's not. Because as it turns out, they just do the same repeatable action over and over again. But they don't, because they're flexible, aren't they? They can do different body styles and all sorts.
It's a bit like Bloodsport. During the fighting scenes, They don't quite touch one another. They get really close, and clearly it's orchestrated. So it's just like the robots in the mini factory, I thought.
I wrote this down because it was so amazing. The robots can deal and work to a precision of 0.1 millimetre. Them some precise robots.
And like Richard said, Christmas at his house is available at any point in time.
Come on over, I've got some videos about robots.
Beautiful tree behind you.
It's a nice tree, isn't it?
Looking slightly festive with your trivia.
Do we know? I think we were mesmerised by the factory and the making of stuff. I like seeing stuff made.
Yeah, I love
exciting. The one thing that's really striking, though, is that the body in white plant, which makes the raw shells of the cars that then can be trimmed and have engines and wheels and stuff put on them, is mostly robots. The most striking thing is there are almost no people there at all. So it has this sort of slightly, sense of a dystopian future, but one that makes
they're all in cages,
quality cars. Yeah, but it's really amazing. And you kind of go, hang on a minute, this is really bad for the employment of Britain. But it's not, because it turns out that where once people would have had to do sort of really dangerous, dirty work like welding, the robots do that. The people now mend the robots. So that's where the employment's gone. And they also work in the final assembly hall where they put the seats in and stuff like that. That's still done by actual people. But the robots are just sort of left to do their own thing, and they seems like they're really good at it.
Do you know what I thought was an interesting fact was the fact they put the car together. So they stamp the panels in Swindon, bring them to here.
Yeah.
And then they make 3-door, 5-door convertible all at random, depending on who's ordered what. But they put the doors on it, paint the car, and then they take the doors off.
And send them away.
And they send them away up into the ceiling. And it's just like if you've ever watched Monsters, Inc., that brilliant cartoon, where there's all those doors flying around and they open the door and then scare the children. And have you ever watched it?
Yeah.
Oh, good. You're looking at me like I was a maniac.
Yeah, it's that, it's that one where Jean-Claude Van Damme kicks someone in Hong Kong.
Yeah. It's really similar to a moment in Bloodsport. You're absolutely right. Yes, where he kicks the polystyrene door down.
They said, the doors go off on a different journey. The doors are off having fun somewhere else. Because you went, you just put them in a cupboard for a bit?
Yeah.
No, not really. But
no, they hang around
they're up there.
Rafters.
And there's these sleds moving around the ceiling with doors on. And you went, hang on a minute, there's a white door and a red door and a blue door on the same sled. How is every Mini coming off the line not a Polo Harlequin? But somehow it's not. That bit I can't quite work out, because the whole car is tracked by a little box they put on the bonnet, which then carries the information of what it's supposed to be and where it's going. So if it's an American car, it has to have different spec, obviously, and it's left-hand drive. But the doors, they go zipping about in the roof, having a merry old time, like they're at Alton Towers, and then somehow they arrive back and they go on the right car. It's mind-boggling.
I had many take-homes away from doing that factory tour, but the primary one was, I'm really glad that you and I don't run the factory.
Oh, my God.
Because we would definitely fuck it up.
Johnny's forgot to order some wheels.
I'd send right-hand drive cars to America, definitely. And go, it's fashionable, just live with it. It's fine. Yeah, but it was mega.
There's a reason that we don't run a car factory. Well, there's many reasons, actually. But it was lots of fun to look around one. Also, I have this every time I look around a car factory, and the last time I think was at Bentley. So this is a slightly cheaper experience, because every time you look around a car factory, you go, God, they put a lot of work into this. I quite fancy one of these now. Yeah. And I left it going, maybe I should buy a Mini.
Yeah.
Look how carefully the robots are doing all that stuff. And all the people.
Well, we were talking about Mini convertibles. So were Mini the first people to invent the convertible roof that goes back a little bit? You know when a caterpillar starts to walk but doesn't do the full walk?
Or a cat being sick.
Yeah. I used to have a cat that used to reverse in a tight circle and then throw up. So impressive. Like a zero steer mower that the local council's got. It was it was gross because it was throwing up, but it was also really impressive. Never thought I'd share that tonight.
Cats are the only animals that reverse away from their own sick.
Oh, incredible.
People don't, do they? But I don't people, we should, probably.
If you've ever done a front-wheel drive donut in a car, which you have to do in reverse.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's a cat throwing up, or my cat. Anyway.
Mini Cabrio,
What's the point of this conversation?
Well, because you were saying this, weren't we? We were kind of going, actually...
There was a point.
Quite fancy Mini Cabrio. Not even a new one necessarily, just an old one, because I just suddenly went, Oh, they're all right, aren't they? They're quite
No, I
dry.
know what it was, because I've realised over the course of this summer, see a lot of mini cabrios about, but because they can do the sort of peel of the roof, but not the roof all the way down thing.
Yeah.
I don't think any mini cabrio owner ever puts the roof fully down.
Oh, because
Because it's too much commitment. Can't be asked.
But it's also, when I had a Smart Roadster, the middle bit of the roof went back, but you could then take the rails either side out for the sort of a more open experience. But you never do.
No.
Because as soon as you do, it's like it starts raining slurry or something. You're in this mad panic to get them back out of the boot. The only thing worse is a Citroen Pluriel.
Oh, yeah.
We have to take the whole sort of upper part of the car off and leave it at home.
What, and it weighed like 160 kilos, so you couldn't actually lift it off on your own anyway.
It's I never understood it.
No, that's why they're 600 quid on Auto Trader.
Are they? I bet they're not even that. Surely nobody wants a Pluriel, do they? Are there any Pluriels still working? Anyone here got a Pluriel?
Has anyone been in one?
There we go.
No, not one person. Not one person. You know, you were saying about body in white.
Yeah.
I couldn't help sniggering when we were having the tour, because although the information was really good and factual, it just sounded like a prog rock album to me.
What?
Body in white. And you can imagine the album.
Christa Berg's Body in White.
Oh, yeah, Creed. But the album cover would involve a tawny owl, I reckon. There'd be a tawny owl.
I'm seeing a lot of white chiffon through which you can see at least one nipple.
Yeah.
Male or female, I'm not sure. I feel like David Coverdale's involved in shenanigans somewhere.
100%. He looks like he's just been creosoted. But he's wearing absolutely flawless white silk.
Yeah.
Like a dressing gown where the little cord that is not there. The cord's gone. Oh, and there's a massive fan in the room, just blown it.
Is he wearing a dressing gown but cowboy boots for reasons that aren't entirely clear? Sort of looks like he's been busted having an affair with someone else's wife and had to shimmy out of a window. But no, that's just his look.
And that's the album Body in White.
Body in White. It's a hotel dressing gown.
It's a hotel dressing gown where the cord has been stolen. So you've put it on and just gone, oh, shit.
I went to a fucking health spa place. I don't know why. Oh, I think I know why, because it seemed like a nice idea.
Because you wanted to be healthy.
They give you, but no, not one of those, but it's basically, you can have a massage and a dip in a very hot pool. And the corridors of the hotel are full of people in ill-sized slippers, dripping onto the carpet. Just one of those hotels that's full of the perpetually damp person because everyone's been in a very hot pool. And they gave you these very fluffy white robes, but they didn't have a tie cord on.
It's one of those hotels.
There was a lot of pampas grass out the front, so I probably should have guessed.
Who's been to one of those hotels? Yeah.
But I didn't know it was one of those hotels, so I quickly cleared the room by playing my "Was it built at Cowley or not" game.
With the road fully open. Yeah. Did you have a slightly nasal voice while you were there?
But it's because I had a nose clip on because the pool was too warm and chlorine-y.
That's got to be the first time you've ever talked about Austin Maxis with your winklet out. Got to be.
Oh, come on, you know me better than that. I've written that down on my list of things. It feels like it's slightly pertinent. You know I like changing the lyrics to songs to my own amusement.
Yeah.
And my latest one, it doesn't really go very far. It's just any song that's got the word sex in it, change it to slacks.
Slacks?
Yeah. So Your Slacks Are on Fire, for example, by the Kings of Leon. Or George Michael's I Want Your Slacks.
I Want Your Slacks. Yeah.
Salt and Pepper, Let's Talk About Slacks. And so changes the tone of that song particularly, I think. Makes it more wholesome. Let's Talk About Slacks. It could be the M&S Christmas campaign if they put their heads into it.
Yeah, you've really sidetracked me there. And also there's a drawing of Noel Edmonds at the back of the room. Has anybody seen that? What? He's back there. He's back there somewhere.
I don't know if it's good stagecraft to make the whole audience turn around. I don't think Derek Jacobi does that when he's playing King Lear.
Cadfael does that.
For people who can't see it, I've taken a photo of it. I'll put it on social media.
It's a lovely depiction.
It is.
Of the lion-headed man.
The leonine New Zealand resident, Noel Edmonds.
We never actually agreed who was the king lion of the lion-headed man.
Was it not What's It out of the Bee Gees?
I thought it was Dave Richards from ProDrive.
He's quite leonine, yes.
He's an incredible line-headed man.
Have I told my David Richards story about when I went to a meeting years and years ago? We wanted to get the Stig racing at Le Mans, like in the actual 24-hour race. And the Aston Martin team, run by ProDrive, said we might be able to help because they knew that the Stig was Ben Collins. Spoiler alert.
What?
Ben never mentions this, but he was the Stig. And they said it's okay. And actually, one of the stumbling blocks turned out to be that the Le Mans people went, you cannot declare your driver to be, how you say, the Stig. And we had to give a real name, and we were like, oh shit, then people will find out, because it was still quite a mystery at that point. But I went to a meeting at ProDrive, and in walked David/Dave Richards. I don't know which one he was being that day, because he seems to sort of just rotate it, and he came in and he sat down on, just a normal sort of chair around a big boardroom table, and he was wearing a shirt and some suit trousers.
And a completely open dressing gown. Yeah. just to hold the room, I've done it, we've all done it.
Well, anyway, on this occasion, no, he'd left the robe at the hotel where I last saw him. And memo to self, have this one legaled before it goes up.
I love that.
And he sat down, and then he put his hands in his suit trouser pockets while sitting down like this. I've never seen that done before or since. I found it profoundly strange, and I couldn't concentrate for the rest of the meeting. And that may have been ultimately what torpedoed our hopes of getting the Stig to Le Mans, is that I couldn't speak.
I know.
No, the room was perfectly normal temperature.
I know.
What?
He went to the toilet before the meeting, natural, because there's probably some nerves. But the hand dryer is one of those shit ones that blows cold air. So he goes into the meeting thinking, I've got wet hands. It looks a bit odd. Straight into the pocket, dries them off, and then he's ready to gesticulate. Or did he never gesticulate?
He didn't really gesticulate. No. I thought you were going to say that he was just sort of having a little stock take down there. Checking that Dave and David were both okay.
I think a meeting room is not the place to do that.
Well, he owns the company. He can do as he damn well likes.
That is true, actually. Well, we don't know. So
we'll never know.
And that's the thing about this podcast. It's full of facts. Talking of which, JCW. There's a new John Cooper Works Mini.
It's over there.
Over there. But the other day, I thought to myself, I bet there's a lot of people who aren't car people who don't know what the JCW is.
No, probably not.
So you could just make it up. If they were ever to ask you what the JCW is. Because I was thinking before we came here and doing this gig at Mini, I thought, shall I just write a completely false history about the Mini and see how many people go, pretty sure that's not right.
Don't think it was Alan Isigonis. That sounds wrong.
Yeah.
So you can really say JCW is like John and Christine Wilson. Friends of my parents, love it.
Well, if you think about the Mini, it was a classless car back in the 60s when it launched, because there were, the Beatles were driving it, and they were a working class car and everything in between. So you could have really glamorous people who would normally drive around in limousines.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know, something exotic in the UK, like a Cadillac, for example.
Yeah.
But let's say the weather becomes inclement.
Yes.
Then said limousine wouldn't be very good, right?
Well, I don't understand. Why would it not be very good?
Well, because it's rear-wheel drive and slithery and probably on cross
I see, right.
So it basically just crashes and understeers into walls.
Yeah.
Not ideal, especially when you're famous. Mm-hmm. So therefore, I think when it happened for the third time running, Joan Collins went, I've had enough of this.
That sounds like Joni.
I'm not understeering into a wall again on a cold, icy night. It's just embarrassing.
Yeah.
So she phoned up Mini, and she went, I just want something really stealth, but I want something that's nippy, goes around corners, but I only want to drive it at cold times of the year. Okay. And they invented the Joan Collins winter car. And that's the JCW. Because driving around in a limo in winter is a stupid shit idea, which is why we've turned up in a limo on a really icy night.
You just reminded me of something.
What?
In the 60s, although it might have been, actually it was the 70s, I think, maybe, late 60s.
The 70s?
John Lennon, out of the Beatles,
Yeah.
took his wife, Yoko Ono, and I think his son,
Julian?
decided to go on holiday to Scotland, set off from London in a Mini, an old-fashioned, I don't even know if it was a Cooper.
Was it JCW?
No, because Joan had got that one that weekend.
Oh, yeah.
And he got to Liverpool. They'd planned to stay overnight with some of his relatives. And he got to Liverpool and he was like, no, the Mini's no good. It's not a practical motorway car for the rest of the stretch to Scotland. So he rang the offices of his Apple, wasn't it, the Beatles company in London, and went, bring me a bigger car. And so someone was dispatched immediately with the new Apple company car. And this is going to be relevant because it was built right here, and it was a Maxi.
Oh!
And John Lennon, out of the Beatles, switched all of his gear from the fab and groovy Mini into a Maxi.
Bravo to that.
He drove to Scotland and had a crash in it. If people see this, there's some photos online, you can see this.
He crashed it?
He crashed it. He binned it. He ended up going to hospital.
Really?
But the Maxi, built right here in Cowley.
Was it built here then?
Yeah.
Oh.
We can see in this room, but that's not true. And effectively, it saved his life. If he'd been in the Mini, he'd have probably been a goner. So he had the wrecked Maxi brought back to his mansion in Surrey, I think it was, and installed on a plinth on the lawn.
What? Why didn't I know that?
I think he had it cubed first, and then he had a cubed Maxi put on a plinth on his lawn. But there are photos of John and Yoko posing in front of the wrecked Maxi that saved their lives. But then John sold the house to Ringo.
Oh.
And moved out, took all his stuff, big white piano, all of that, left the Maxi. And Ringo went, I'm not having that on my bloody lawn. And he had the Maxi thrown away.
No.
Yeah.
Ringo, you bastard.
I know. Would be worth a fortune now.
Yeah, it probably would.
Bet it still doesn't go into gear properly either. Bit of a Maxi joke there.
I miss my dad's Maxi, I have to say. And I've talked about it on previous podcasts, but the night he came home after being hit by a drunk driver, whilst waiting at a junction, so that the front of the car was entirely removed. So I heard a car pull up onto the drive or coming down the road, open the curtains, and I just didn't see anything.
Oh.
And it was because Dad drove home with no front on the car. So it was not identifiable as any car. There was no headlights, there was no front ends of the wings, there was no bumper, there was no grille, nothing.
What just the engine, like hanging out like David Coverdale's bits?
Honestly, it just shaved a lot off, not like David Coverdale's bits. So, yeah. But even better than that, he came home, had dinner, and said, I've just been hit by a hit-and-run person who was swerving violently. Had to be at work the next morning for 6. Just got in the moment. It didn't have any functioning lights because they weren't there anymore.
Oh my God.
Just drove it.
What?
Got to get to work, can't be late. That's what I like.
It was a different time.
And now you get pricks at the side of the road staring at a flat tyre. Actually staring at a flat tyre like...
Just stare the air back into it.
I don't understand.
We talked in the last podcast about the new campaign by Jaguar to reinvent itself.
I'm not aware of it.
No one's talking about it. I was a bit confused because obviously this is Thursday. They're announcing their new concept car the day this podcast goes live, next Monday. I thought they'd do a whole week of trying to really piss off ruddy-faced men with a 25-year-old XJ6. Smells of fags and despair.
Do we need to record a couple of reactions to it, and you can just insert the one that you want to use? Or
I haven't shown you this. I've got a picture of the concept car.
Oh, it's not from that hotel that you were in.
No, I'll show you that
Okay.
later when we're back at our hotel.
Okay. Bloody hell.
I know.
Okay, is that real?
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
I'm not allowed to show the rest of you.
And this works really well.
Does anyone here work for JLR?
Oh,
Don't
shit.
tell anyone. All right?
That's 6 people.
Circle of trust.
That was a really good song by Elton John, wasn't it? Is that right?
Oh, I'm going to get a phone call now.
So, the new Jag's now out.
Well, no, because it won't, because this podcast will go live first thing on Monday morning, and they're announcing it in Miami. So Miami is
Okay,
different time zone.
the new Jag's nearly out.
Nearly out.
Insert which.
But yeah, we'll do 2 options. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, I'm not sure. Yeah, I go more northern when I don't like things.
Right, I want to find. In fact, I'll see if I can see it. Where's Joe, Richard, Darren? Where are you, boys? There you are at the back there. Just want to ask you a quick question. What happened last week? Exactly 7 days ago.
You can't ask people in the audience because we won't be able to hear them on the tape.
Oh, well, they'll shout it and I'll just repeat it.
Or you could take that
All
microphone
right,
down.
it's like a rhetorical question because I know exactly what happened 7 days ago. I did not tell you the wrong date.
Is this
They nearly turned up here 7 nights ago.
Are we back to the...
I think 2 of them were in the car on the way. Yes, you were in the car. You can't blame me for the fact that you got the dates wrong. That's your issue.
I feel like we're back to reasons Jonny doesn't run a car factory.
But I wanted to say thanks ever so much for this because Richard.
Oh!
Yeah, Richard has sourced. Yeah.
For the people at home, Jonny has a brochure for a Japanese performance coupe. Jonny, what is the name of that car?
1995 Honda Prelude, yeah. And it's exquisite. Honestly, it's exquisite. Would you like me to read an extract?
Go on.
Okay. I won't. I mean, I don't want to bore you all, but you're here for another.
It's got a lot. I can see from here. It's got a lot of words in it.
Oh yeah.
Do they have to tell you things? It doesn't just sort of say.
No, look. There's suspension diagrams and everything because it's at 90s Japanese.
Proper.
It's called this page is called "Enjoying the Road Ahead." I'm going to read it like this.
As opposed to what?
I don't
enjoy the road behind. Enjoy that road over there.
Having enjoyed the road already.
Please tell us.
I'm going to
do 5 minutes to do a survey about the road you've just enjoyed.
Take a suspension proven on the racetracks of the world, yeah. Add to the 2.2 V-Tech models a truly innovative 4-wheel steering system. The result, is a car which matches your every move with a higher level of control and preeminent quality of feedback. The combination of 4-wheel, like double wishbone suspension, all that shit, whatever that is, speed-sensitive 4-wheel steering gives the Prelude handling, which is more than merely excellent. It gives the Prelude true on-road authority. 4-wheel steering and power steering give it yet another advantage. Smooth, effortless parking in spaces that others would just marvel at, yeah. Believe. I have to admit, I added "believe" at the end. It doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that.
It doesn't say that.
Oh.
What an amazing... I'm so going to read that tonight for ages.
Did it say smooth, effortless parking?
It actually did. It says... So basically what it's saying is you can razz it around B roads fast with control, but when you come to park it, it's easier. It's just better.
Smooth parking.
Yeah.
Where's the bit where it says... You ain't ever seen a rev counter do what it did?
Well, I haven't got to that page yet.
It must be in there somewhere.
Oh, it's this one. Making driving a delight. Oh, yeah. So if anyone wants to come up at the interval, grab a little tickle on some of the aftershave we've got at the front here. Handle this carefully, but you can have a look if you wish. It's a wonderful thing. Thanks, Richard. It's sweet. It's a sweet, sweet brochure. It really is. I'm just going to read this, Roy. You do some talking, Rich.
Oh, I see. You're just going to read it to yourself.
Yeah. Well, look, they've got the graphs of the torque curve of the 2.2. Just there. All right, 2.2, yeah. You're like... Even on the cover, is it getting slightly out of control?
It does look like it, yeah.
All right,
which is odd, because it's front-wheel drive, but it looks like it's having...
But is it, though? You don't know. Right.
What, sorry?
Oh, yes.
What? Hey, what? I still couldn't hear that, sorry.
Did you see that Range Rover advert photo where it's on a... Is it on the drive of a stately home?
Yeah. It's a Range Rover Sport, and it looks like it's madly understeering.
Yeah, it looks like it. You know those rally crash montages? where there's always a camera operator at the side of the road.
Yes, making a mad run for it.
And they're leaning out into the road a little bit to get the right shot.
Yeah.
Usually wearing impractical trousers, I always think.
Always wearing impractical trousers?
Yeah, like the sort of trousers you might wear at a wedding in the 70s. But not on a rally stage in Morocco. Why would you be wearing them? Anyway.
But I think the trousers are partly responsible for that. They always run off in a slightly rubbish way. That kind of running that's no faster than walking. And you go, dude, there's like a Renault Clio Maxi coming towards you. Not the Maxi, but the rally car.
Yeah.
And
they've either manipulated the image, which I think they have.
I wondered if it was AI.
They've AI'd it, and it does look like it looks like you're drunk driving up your own stately home drive, and you've got it a bit wrong. But the great thing is when you crash it and roll it, you're within walking distance of the house.
Well,
it's absolutely fine.
Or you'll just get your man to come down and pick you up. That's why Range Rovers have such incredible wading ability. It's so that the Earl of Fortescue can drive through his carp lake when he's absolutely shit-faced, understeer off into his river, his trout river or whatever.
You see, the last time that happened to me, I just called up my best friend and they just delivered an Austin Maxi. It's absolutely fine. No problem at all.
Was John Lennon's best friend Paul McCartney? I don't think Paul McCartney delivered a Maxi to Liverpool.
I bet he would have.
And 2 weeks later, he wrote Pipes of Peace, inspired by that trip up the M6.
But I realised the other day, because I've got a new place to store some of my old shit cars.
Oh, yes.
And the guy that's lending me this space...
it's an exquisite space.
Sweet, sweet guy. He's got a Maserati MC Stradale.
Oh.
Which... sounds like a very interesting drum and bass MC.
It does.
Got to admit.
I've seen MC Stradale written about 2/3 of the way down a little poster on a lamppost in London. Advertising D&B nights.
Oh,
he's in Bristol.
He's in Bristol, yeah. MC Stradale. But what other car MCs were there? Because I know that you've got better memory for this sort of thing than me. Can you think of any other MCs?
No, there was a Maserati MC12, wasn't there? Which I thought sounded like one of those sort of New York post-punk bands.
Yeah, MC12 would be that.
Yeah.
So not actually an MC.
But they've got kind of Jean-Claude Van Damme spec trousers that are a bit too short. Maybe braces.
Oh, yeah.
Or suspenders, as Americans would call them.
Zoot suits, they would have.
Zoot suits? I don't know. What, you think they'd all dress, or does at least one of them dress like a coach driver? I don't know.
That's Scar.
But MC12, definitely...
I was going to dress like a coach driver tonight. I thought I'd dress like a twat instead.
I can't think of any other MC cars. Are there any other MC cars? BMC. Ah.
Yeah. Oh, that brings it right back around. That's clever.
That's good. On topic.
Right,
well, actually, MC would be... because Mini Cooper is MC, isn't it?
Mini Cooper?
Yeah, why are you looking at me like that? You've never heard of it before.
But it's all the things that are so obvious I wish I'd written them down earlier, but I just haven't had a chance. Just noticed from you, Mark.
Run BMC.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. I like that one. That's good. That's what they shouted as the rally car was barreling rolling off the road. Run, BMC. A massive crashing car.
A Mini coming towards them.
Now, Mark, on the front row, you just sat there, having sent me, and your wife's next to you. Hi, Sally. having sent me some absolute smut a couple of days ago on my phone. I can't believe you've got the audacity to just sit there and stare at me. Just want to share with the audience what Mark sent me. Yeah, Sally, you'll now find out what he sent me.
Is this
absolute pure grot?
Is this the kind of thing one might see in one of those hotels I go to? Or indeed in David Coverdale's house? Oh no, it's come open again.
It really is disgusting. Hang on a minute. Where is it? There it is. I won't show the audience yet. Show it
it's
to
not
you.
a Jag concept car, is it?
No, it's not a secret.
Oh God, that thing.
Yeah, dirty.
No, you sent that to me.
Yeah,
it looks like it smells.
Yeah.
It's a camper van, don't worry.
This is no good for anyone listening at home, or in fact you in the audience.
We'll put it
on a phone screen.
or other.
It's a 1993 Ford Starcraft, based upon either a Cortina or a Sierra, with 6 wheels. And the interior, I think it looks like it would smell like... You know when you buy something from a charity shop, but the charity shop doesn't have the heating on? Just a little bit. Just a little bit damp.
Ah.
A little damp.
Yeah.
Woolly and damp.
Yeah.
I'm going to say wool.
Yeah. Like Jean-Claude's trousers after that trip to Hong Kong.
Yeah. Exactly.
But then he dropped them in a charity shop, no heating on.
Yeah.
They couldn't shift them for 6 months. Still damp.
So you sent me that appalling vehicle, expecting me... It's only done 17,000 miles. That means nobody's ever really been on holiday in it.
It's so revolting.
I like
There's
it.
not a thing inside that I would touch without checking that my tetanus jab was in date.
Oh no, I'd incinerate it, the whole thing, the interior, but then redo it. But
I think I can't think what the interior smells like. I think woolly and damp maybe,
definitely,
but with a hint of mothballs.
Oh yes, it would have mothballs.
I was going to say rotting veg.
Did you say rotting veg?
Rotting veg and rotting flesh probably as well.
Rotting flesh? No, that's it does look a bit kidnappy.
Smells of despair.
It does look kidnappy. It's just horrible.
A friend of ours sent me a picture earlier on. I don't know if I'll be able to find this now.
Not of a hotel scene.
You know that it was established some years ago that for some reason a lot of murderers like a big Renault.
Well, Harold Shipman is the only one
Harold Shipman.
Greg James. A yet to be murderer.
Boy, it's going to be a legal odyssey through this one when it's published. No, there was, what's his name? Stuart Sutcliffe. Stuart Sutcliffe?
Steve.
No, not Steve Sutcliffe. No. Fred West. No, there was definitely...
Did Fred West have a Renault? A big one?
No, I think, but Peter Sutcliffe, that's him. He had a big Renault.
Did he?
Shipman had an Espace.
Yeah.
Big Renault. So our mate Tom...
Well, Renault UK are lapping this up for their social media. I'm absolutely sure of that. Hey,
I've got one of their cars at the moment as well. I'll come to that in a minute.
Oh.
But no, this is a Laguna. So it's a pretty big Renault.
Yeah.
It's going through auction at the moment.
Auction.
In the auction photos, one of the boot shows that the boot contains a tarpaulin.
Is that true?
Red flag 1.
A tarpaulin?
There is a photograph to show that it has a glass sunroof. And on the sunroof, there are very visibly some finger marks, as if someone has been trying to escape.
What?
Clawing frantically at the standard fit electric tilt-slide sunroof. And Tom just said, should I call the police?
Has anybody bought a car with a tarp in the boot?
You haven't, because you've got a bit of...
I have actually got a tarp in the boot of which car at the moment? I do, and I don't kidnap people. I don't. I'm trying to think which car it is. It's the Honda Insight. That's a terrible kidnapper's car anyway, isn't it? 2-seater.
No,
not enough room for stuff.
I mean, the Eagle...
You've had a lot of insights, Mark, and you sent us that kidnapper camper. Are you telling me something? 4 people killed in yours? One for every insight. Oh, brilliant. Yeah, a death for every car owned.
This has taken a dark turn, hasn't
it?
Can I tell you about the Dacia Spring?
Yeah.
I came here in
let the audience decide. Would you like Richard to tell you about the Dacia Spring? Yes.
The man down the front here, he just said, yeah, fuck it. I'm having a shit evening anyway, why
I
not?
love that. Who said that?
Well, anyway, I came here in a Dacia Spring, and it was quite good fun.
Well, I was just so you can tell us a bit more, but you just reminded me of the fact that when I was working on my 2CV a couple of weeks ago, one of the chaps in the 2CV shop, who's got a lovely mullet, actually. He's a young guy, he's got a fashion mullet. From a certain angle, I realised after working with him for a couple of hours, I thought he looks a bit like Paul Young.
Oh.
So I said to him out loud, do you know what I think? You look a bit like Paul Young. And he went, yeah. Wherever I come, that's my home. with a totally straight face. And I went, I'm pretty sure Paul Young didn't say that. If he did, he's a mucky bastard. I mean, he might have, but I don't know. I wasn't there.
Wherever I
come, that's my home. Yeah.
At least it wasn't coming.
And that's why.
That's my home.
That's why I'm going to wear my safety glasses for the rest of the. These are great.
Anyway, the Dacia Spring.
So
Starts about £14,000. So I've got the upper spec extreme model with the larger battery. It's about 17 grand, so it's still pretty cheap. It's an EV.
Nice.
Sorry, I can't get past wherever I come, that's my home.
It's true though, isn't it? I didn't make that up. Yeah.
I'm impressed that a young person had heard of Paul Young.
Yeah.
I found myself the other week standing outside a pub in fashionable East London,
Yeah.
explaining in slightly too much detail to a couple of younger people, like people I work with, not just strangers, the TV show Treasure Hunt, which they'd never heard of or about in any way, or seen.
What with
Annika Rice.
Yeah, I nearly said Ulrika Johnson, but that's not right. Yeah, that was
confusing
Gladiator.
your people of Scandinavian descent with blonde hair off the television.
For sure.
And the more I was describing it, the more I realised it sounded mad and that I'd made it all up. Because they were going, a helicopter? No, 2 helicopters. One to film the other helicopter from.
Did they say, why didn't they just use a drone?
There was a bit of that. No, I did that because I did basically just like sound a million years old because I went, remember, we didn't have drones back then.
Yeah.
And anyway, there's no drone built that Annika Rice could get into and zoom about Britain looking for clues in a lemon-coloured jumpsuit.
Does anybody else remember Treasure Hunt?
Yes.
Yeah, look, so at least 12 people here.
Don't make me explain it again.
Do you have a VW Beach Buggy? I remember that.
No, that was Challenge Annika.
Oh, bollocks. I don't think I've ever seen Treasure Hunt then.
You must know Treasure Hunt. Don't make me do this again. It was Kenneth Kendall. He was a newsreader. He was in a library with this, usually like a couple. They were going, and they were allowed to look in books because, as I said to these young people, remember, we didn't have the internet then.
These young people were glued to you that night.
Yeah, they left soon afterwards. I didn't even have a chance to play Cowley or not Cowley with them. So. Although my robe did fall open, so that might have...
You were wearing... It was fashionable East London, so the dressing gown would have been perfect. Yeah. Isn't it? Stolen dressing gown. Oh, I know, there's something really important that I wanted to mention. You know, we've talked about sweet, sweet guys before.
Yeah.
In fact, extensively on this podcast. Well, Richard Noble.
Yes.
Thrust.
Yes. That's not his nickname.
It's not funny. I don't know
it was what his car was called for people.
It's not his stage name.
I'm Richard Thrust Noble.
It actually could be. But so I was at an awards do the other week, the historic motor vehicle awards, motor awards, where Rowan Atkinson did a speech, and that's irrelevant because he didn't mention Richard Noble. He did a very good speech though. But I was with a lovely, sweet, sweet guy who mentioned that he knew Richard Noble. And I went, I'd love to meet Richard Noble, because as a kid I remember Thrust and Thrust 2 and all that kind of thing.
Actually, the sequel was better, wasn't it?
Thrust 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Because it was set in Hong Kong and his trousers shrank.
That is true.
Because of the speed, though.
It's like Paddington 2, way better than Paddington, right?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
Paddington in Peru.
Is it not so good?
Well, I mean, the high bar of Paddington 2 is very hard.
Beverly
Anyway,
Hills
we
Cop
digress.
2 better than Cop 1, slightly, I feel.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I remembered the other day with a cold shudder of when I was best man for a mate and it was his second wedding.
Oh, shit. What did you do?
Well, the first thing I did was that I had to draw everyone's attention. They were having, sort of pre-wedding breakfast drinks in the bar area of this venue, a little glass of some fizz or whatever. And I had to go in and say, ladies and gentlemen, if you'd like to come through to the next room for the wedding breakfast. And you get a wine glass and tap it with a knife.
Yeah.
So I went, ladies and gentlemen, tapped the glass and just broke it. And everybody turned around and there's a prick in a suit standing in a puddle of broken glass going, everyone want to come and have some food? They had some food and then I stood up and did my speech and there were two problems actually. One of them was that the radio mic, like one of these, the base station, for reasons that I still can't fathom, was about 2 rooms away and it kept dropping out. So if anyone remembers that comedian Norman Collier who used to make a whole shtick out of a mic dropout, it was that, but not funny. Because every time I did an anecdote, I'd go and I turned to him and said, arsonist, and he said, chicken tikka masala. People were going, I'm sorry, I don't know what you're talking about. The bit the mic didn't fucking drop out for was when I went, so glad to be here, and I have a feeling about this wedding like I had about The Godfather 2. I think this is going to be much better than the last one. You're very kind. Funnily enough, the people at the wedding did not applaud. If anything, they went...
But that's because you were wearing the dressing gown. Suitable for weddings.
We had also had a 45-minute game of Cowley or not Cowley. Their patience was wearing really thin.
Anyway, back to Noble.
Oh, sorry, thrust. Richard Noble, yes.
Yeah, so Noble, Thrust 2, which is the one I remember the most as a kid, and then Thrust SSC, and then I realised Thrust SSC, sweet car.
Ah.
It was staring us in the face all this time. The fastest car in the world was the sweetest car.
It all
Genius.
makes sense.
So maybe we owe all of this to Noble.
Imagine that.
Has anybody met Richard Noble? You will have done.
Yeah?
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 Anyone else? Hands up. 1, 2,
Wow.
3, 4, 5 people have met Richard Noble.
There's another at the back, I think. There's a surprising number of people.
All right, 6.
Now, I once went for a coffee with TV's Jeremy Clarkson at Paddington Station.
What? Why?
Bear with me. And at those days, there used to be a sort of cafe on the concourse. And we sat having a coffee, and Jeremy said, every time I come here, I see Richard Noble having a coffee here.
What?
I was like, what? And the best we could figure out is that he's doing it deliberately because he's sitting there and he's watching all the high-speed trains leaving for Bristol and Swansea and everywhere, and he's going, I've been faster than that. In a car. Losers.
And
the wrong way round, didn't I?
Genuinely, he had seen
He said, I keep seeing Richard Noble here.
having a coffee in a railway station.
But then it was like, this was the 2000s. Like, what else was Richard Noble going to be doing? Can't be driving really fast all the time. But Paddington Station, I still haven't worked that one out. Might be overthinking.
No, I'm thinking about it now.
Well, anyway, look, we should bring this to a halt.
Was he wearing a dressing gown?
Yes.
Yes, just asking for a friend.
But, a high-speed dressing gown blows open.
That's a cloak.
Oh,
Dressing gown.
I'd love to get away with a cloak. I'd quite like a cane as well.
What?
No, not a walking stick, a cane. It sort of like
No,
twirl
not
it.
a walking stick. I know.
I don't know, I think it gives you a certain gravitas.
Look, I know we're a pair of pricks, but if one of us turned up with a cloak and a cane, would it be funny or would it just tip you over the edge and go, too much? It's too much. Yeah, stroker.
What if
He's absolutely right.
What if
Stroker.
the cape or the cloak was embroidered with various British Leyland cars that had been made at the Cowley factory?
Oh, what, like a family tree?
Yeah.
Of vehicles?
Yeah. I think that would...
What about if mine was embroidered with stroker on the back? Like as if I was a boxer and my name was Johnny the Stroker Smith.
Johnny the Stroker Smith, taking on Fighting out of Paddington Station, Richard Trust Noble.
What are we doing? Are we fighting or drinking coffee as fast as possible?
Competitive coffee drinking.
Dear me.
If you get shaky hands, you're out. Right, well, anyway, on that note, we should bring this to a halt because we've been going on for far too long. Before we go, I have 3 things to tell you. They are: 1, Jonny is engaged in a remarkable project to remake a 90s alien invasion film, but he's making our favourite female singer in the Will Smith role under the working title Independence Sade. If that's not...
I don't know how he does it.
If that's not to your taste, there is always the Late Break Show, lots of excellent videos.
I've got no idea, mate.
No, you don't know what's going up on there. Go and have a look for yourself.
It'll be really good, though, I think. Is that okay to say that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Without doubt.
Or I could just read an extract.
It'll just be you reading
it contains...
the Prelude brochure.
Comfort in the prelude is not an indulgence. Comfort is, after all, the cornerstone of the car's performance characteristics here. The deeply sculpted driver's seat's got adjustable lumbar support, and the sound system emphasizes quality reproduction and pin-shot stereo imaging. The carefully considered interior ambience is restful, yet purposeful, adding to the sheer enjoyment of the driving. Prelude style.
Actually says Prelude style at the end.
Again, we'll stick it on the list of future merch.
Believe.
Second thing I have to say is a massive thank you to everyone at Mini for having us here and making us feel so welcome and laying on all of this. And also,
you, the people.
thank you to you for coming down here.
Yeah.
We really appreciate that, and frankly, we are
We're overwhelmed.
staggered by the fact that we've got so many of you here. And the third thing I've got to tell you is I wrote down 2 Cowley-related facts. I might as well do both of them.
Oh, gosh.
Second generation BMW Mini has something in common with the Morris Michael.
Morris Michael.
That one up, didn't I?
Morris Michael.
The Morris Michael.
Morris Michael.
It's a relation of Mini Cooper.
It's the Morris Michael.
Hi, I'm Morris Michael. The second generation BMW Mini has something in common with the Morris Ital beyond the fact they were both built in this factory. And that is, they both had their body engineering done by Ital Design of Italy. Thanks, guys. It's better than I thought.
The Morris Michael. I can't stop thinking about it.
Also, while we're here, this obviously used to be the Morris factory. That's how it was founded. But the last ever Morris badged vehicle was actually built at Longbridge. It was a metro van.
It's called back to Longbridge.
What?
It's called back to Longbridge.
Come back to Longbridge.
But seriously, thanks ever so much for everybody who has come here to see us and people who are listening to us, or both.
Yeah. And thank you for listening at home. We will be back on Friday. We're about to record here now, but let's not get bogged down in that.
Yeah.
Until then, goodbye.
Cheers, mate. Thanks, mate. Bye.
Join our Patreon, what wonders that it brings. Early shows and extra notes on that side of things. You could buy our merchandise, we've mugs and hats but still no ties. One day we will make those pies, but in the meantime, guys, hey guys, like and subscribe and maybe leave a nice review. Like and subscribe, we know you know just what to do. Like and subscribe, we don't want to take the piss. Like and subscribe, but we were told to ask for this. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
Who doesn't have a nut allergy?